Whoa. It's the illusion reporting from somewhere on Spaceship Earth for another edition of Sober Wednesday, where we share our experience, strength, and hope in the solution so that others may find the solution. Because no problem is permanent. They're just temporary. Unless, of course, you nailed it to the side of your house. But that's a different story. Anyhow, let's open it up with the serenity prayer. God, grant me the serenity to accept the things I cannot change, the courage to change the things I can, and the wisdom to know the difference. Amen. All right. So this is the Floyd Apocalypse. There you go. Free as a bird. Dan, GoPro John, Smiley. All right. We are here for another episode of Sober Wednesday. Dude, sobriety, what a trip. So the serenity prayer. I needed that. So I on one side of my house, so our house is sided with 12 on center. I forget what kind of wood it is. Siding wood. I forget what the actual name is. T111. Is it T111? I think it's 12 on center T111. I could be wrong. But whatever it is, you can't get 12 on center T111 that easily, dude. But I managed to find some at the local hardware store. And the reason I needed some T111 is I did some work on the back of my house and I had to do it in T111. And I realized it was super hard to get this stuff and that it's almost cost twice as much anywhere else. So I was like, I have one side of my house that's the south facing side. It's the garage. It's the side of the garage. It's gotten hammered by the sun. So it's pretty worn. And, it's probably been there for 40, this house is 87, almost 40 years, probably, maybe, I don't know. And, it was time to put some new stuff on. Right. So I had a person up here and, we're like, all right, let's nail this. So we did it. We ripped the stuff off, but there's it's in the gable. So the stuff's 8 foot. And then there was like a strip of 3.5 and then the continuation of the pieces. Right. So we ripped it all out. I adjusted the gap a little bit. So it hung down a little bit further over on the bottom. We put it up. Whatever, I filled it in, I got everything dialed in, and then I had to put a strip, like a fascia strip, but it wasn't fascia, but it was to cover the seam. And the minute I covered the seam, I put it back, I went and looked, and all of a sudden you realize that the lines are off by a 3/4 of an inch. Well, actually an inch. I inched myself, but it's all due to just the way it laid in on the studs and I got them upside down or something. I did something wrong, but there's no undoing it. I guess I could, but I can't, and I'm not going to. So it's off. The lines are off. And I figured this out about 4 hours ago. 3 hours ago when I was painting it. So I'm painting it. And all of a sudden I took a step back and I'm like, what's wrong here? And I'm like, oh my, because you couldn't see it until I put the fascia to cover the seam. And then once I saw it, I was like, there's no unseeing it. And I was like, oh God. And I've been spinning out until I just did the serenity prayer. God grant me the strength to accept the things I cannot change, the courage to change the things I can, and the wisdom to know the difference. So this stuff's nailed off. It's on there. It's brand new because the other stuff came off pretty easy because it was rotten or it was weather worn. So it just peeled right off. It gave me a little bit of fight, but just came off. The new stuff's on and it's on. It's super on. And I'm stuck with it. So I'm like, and it's been driving me crazy, dude. And my mind is like, what do you do? Did you rip it off? And I went and looked on this side of the house, and they have it they have a different kind of situation. So I think I'm going to copy that over the long run. But it is acceptance because my mind is obsessed with this all of a sudden because it's the side of my house. But you only really know if you know. If you didn't know, you wouldn't know. But I know. And I'm obsessed about it, right? Like my mind is spinning and I'm like, all right, just accept it. Cause dude, I caulked it all in. I fondoed some seams. There's no going back. Just is what it is. It's baked into the thing. And so I'm sitting out there. I'm like, all right, this is my monument to myself. And I was like, well, what's the monument to? It's like, because it's literally nailed to the side of my house with ring shanks too. So there's no getting it off, right? There's no going backwards. And I was like, well, I was thinking about, what is it a reminder about? And it'll forever be my reminder of the Serenity Prayer. I've baked into my house. I've nailed onto my house a symbol of the Serenity Prayer. God, grant me the serenity to accept the things I cannot change, the courage to change the things I can, the wisdom to know the difference. So I can't change it. Like it's done. And, but what I can change is the top thing. I can actually, I checked out this side of the house. It's a little involved, but I can do it. I don't need to do it right now. I can do it. And the wisdom to know the difference. So I did get, so it literally is like the Serenity Prayer in application on the side of my house. So if it's a representation of alcoholism or drug addiction or whatever it is, the things that make us crazy, my mind is obsessed. I've walked outside the house and stared at it like 20 times and just tried to convince myself I can't see it. Like, you can't see it. What are you going to do? And I've been just back and forth and the whole thing. And I'm like, well, you're not going to rip it all off because that would be insane. Because that would be like a $500 like deal. I'm like, I ain't doing that. Plus time and energy and just waste and the whole thing. So I've been going back there trying to trick my mind not to see it. But every time I try to not see it, I see it even more. And then I walked across the field and you could barely see it, but you could still see it. And then I'm like, all right, I'm going to plant a bunch of trees here. I'm going to plant a row of trees to block this thing, right? Like, so literally at this point, my alcoholism has told me either to like tear down my entire house and start over again, or basically plant an entire forest to cover up my mistake, or just own it. Just own it, look at it. And now my story is that is my, and I figured it out the minute I did the Serenity Prayer. That is my actual in real life RIL. It's my RIL of the Serenity Prayer in application, nailed to the side of my house. If anyone asks, I go, look, I blew it. I monkeyed myself. But it's my proof of the Serenity Prayer actually works. It's not going to affect anything with the house. It just looks retarded. Because I am retarded, because I made a mistake. I made a simple little mistake because I couldn't see it because I was too close to it when we were putting up the new sheeting, and missed that one. So that is cosmetic versus functional. It is strictly cosmetic, but it's super cosmetic. So I am going to like ultimately cover it up with whatever. It's whatever. I feel like 100% better about it, like now than I did 10 minutes ago. 10 minutes ago, I was like, what? I wasn't bummed about it, but I was obsessed about it. See, the alcoholic mind will obsess. It will obsess to the point of insanity about this thing on the side of my house. And I will like spin out, dude. I was spinning out. I was like, well, can the neighbors see it? I was like, where's the neighbor's house in reference to this? Will they be able to see this? I'm like, who's going to see? And then I was like, who's going to know? Even if they see it, what are they going to think? They're going to think someone's an idiot. So it's ego, right? So ultimately, like, why do I care? It's my ego. My ego has me afraid that some random person in the next 40 years is going to look at the side of my house and go, whoever put that siding up is an idiot. And that idiot is me. And I don't want to be that idiot for that person who stares at this in the next 40 years and happens to notice that I inched myself. Right. Right. So at the end of the day, like, that's the thing. What am I worried about? I'm worried about my perception of myself to somebody I've never met, somebody I may never meet. It could literally, I could be dead by that. I could be dead before the time that someone actually notices that it's off. And then they're going to go, who? And it's not like they're going to track it down to me. If I don't tell anyone, right? If I don't tell anyone in my house, no one's going to know it's me. I mean, they might think about it a decade from now and be, I think my dad replaced that stuff, dude. But did he replace the top or the bottom? And dude, I've been just doing mental gymnastics and obsessing about it, and just yeah. The resto man will inspect, dude. Yeah, dude. Yeah, it's ring shanked in, dude. Totally, bro. I was like, because I put it on, I was like, I don't want this stuff ever coming off, right? Because the my boy is sending me pictures of the side of his house right now. He's literally saying, come help me out. Put it on crooked if you have to. And it's ironic. It's almost the same stuff, dude. It's funny, dude. All right, dude. Oh, holy smoke, dude. Yeah, I framed it, dude. I cited it, dude. I didn't frame it, dude. That's the point. Oh man. Yes, it's been a funny couple hours, dude, of just obsessing and walking back in the house and being like, just let it go, dude. It's going okay. It's not a big deal, dude. It's just whatever it is. And then walking out there and being like, oh my God, what am I gonna do? What am I gonna do? What? And then I did the wise thing. I went and said, I was like, well, what's on the other side of the house? And then I went on the other side of the house and I was like, oh, there's a solution. There's a solution on the other side, because what they did is they stacked the fascia boards like you would hardy board siding on the top of it. I was like, oh, I can do that. I could do that, dude. Put on your goggles, dude. Look away. Just look away, dude. Can't someone put T111 on the side of my cabin like that? I can't wait to change it, dude. Yeah, dude. The seam, dude. The hottest is yeah, it's just one of those things, dude. So yeah, no, that's the alcoholic mind, totally obsessed with this thing. And so I'm ratting myself out, because if I truly spin out, I know Cleewood. Remember, perfection. Yeah, it is the thing. Look for the $500 in the shoebox on the top shelf of your closet. Exactly, dude. What kind of thing can really rattle my cage if it so rattled my cage, dude. It looks better. Well, the first part of it was it wasn't painted. The top was still painted. And then I had fresh wood and it really stood out. I was like, whoa. And now painting it, it's gone away, except when I walk by. So I did a bunch of walk by tests too. I was like, all right, I'm walking by and I happen to like have my head leaned and I've made myself crazy, dude. I need myself crazy spinning out about it, dude. But that's what we do, man. So I think, the model, right, is at this point, I think people like it is to let the noise go full volume, dude. Is to let the volume go. Let it be loud. Let the voice inside your head get as loud as it needs to be, because it can only get so loud. It can only get so loud, and then it just sort of tops itself out. And you're like, okay, that's it. Like, is it going to affect the world? No. Is it going to affect me? Only if I let myself spin out about it, dude. And I'm not going to let myself spin out about it because I have a solution, right? God has granted me the wisdom to know the difference, right? The wisdom to know the difference is ultimately it's fixable. It's a cover up. I can literally plant like 4 redwood trees. No one will ever know. So, that's what I got going on. That's my investment as life as a metaphor about sobriety. So, it's funny in this world I inhabit, right? So, right, we have I'm trying to gather my thoughts here for myself, dude, in the sense of all right. So there, like in this life, right? In this life, you have to be willing to stand somewhere. You have to be willing to have a hill to die on, dude. You have to be willing to have a hill to die on, dude. Right? So for me, my hill I'm dying on is the sober hill, right? Is you're not going to get me to crack on that. You're not going to get me to drink. Not going to get me to use drugs. But I'm only sober today. Like understand that. Like, I'm not going to drink or use drugs today. I'm probably not going to tomorrow. I more than likely won't a decade from now, but that's a ways off. I don't even know if I need to get that far out. I just need to get into today, right? And part of I think that being the hill to die on, right? Because that is my sobriety is based upon my spiritual condition, right? And if my spiritual condition is truly operating at full levels in this world we live in, right? So in the beginning, my spiritual condition really just needs to be in the arena of not drinking or using drugs one day at a time and working the steps and do the thing. And then life expands, right? And then my spiritual condition was, accept a new being into my life, i.e. my son, and step up to life in a real way like that. And then, my next elevation of my spiritual condition was my community burning down, my home burning down, and all my stuff burning up. And, just the trials and tribulations of keeping a marriage together and a family together through difficult times. That was the next level of spiritual expansion. And then, I moved up out into the country up here and just doing the homesteading and all that kind of stuff and joining a community and, just that level of it. And now I'm pretty like stable in my life, man. My life's pretty stable. My son's 10 years old. My marriage is solid. We're doing our thing. I've settled into the homestead. I'm putting up siding that's an inch off and not a big deal. Like whatever. I'm doing these things. So the hill the hill I'm going to die on is my sobriety now. So now no longer is it like navigating the issues as I move through them. Now it's spiritual warfare. And so the last 6 months, me and my wife and our family has been under spiritual assault, right? So we have been attacked by people and their darkness, if you will, man. And it's been a full court press for a while now. I guess the last 4 months. I guess it's 4 months about. And why is it? What is difference about it being like a thing about stuff, right? Most of these things I talk about are human condition related. This is the next thing because we were working with the dude who came up here to do like a 7-day experiential up here and kind of come and work on himself and button up some stuff. And we were talking and for us, like my whole like life and my wife's life and our whole family life is about being of service to people and the greater good and all that kind of stuff. So, we've built a business around it. We dedicate our free time. Like our life is generally the baseline of our life is to be of service, right? And for many people in sobriety, it's like being of service is sort of a thing that's not the norm, but it's something you do to maintain your sobriety, right? It's the esteemable acts. But we've morphed our life into like it's a 24/7 being of service type of situation, right? And because of that, because we're stable and stationary now, we're not in motion, we're not moving, we're not going from A to B, we're not running away. Like we're here. We've been under like spiritual attack, and pretty profoundly, I must say. Like I haven't really spoke of this except over on the Lego channel a little bit, dude, because that's sort of an elite crew, but we've been under some pretty heavy duty, like spiritual attack lately. And what I've noticed at this time of my life is that because I'm so centered in my sobriety, because I am like a sober dude, which means that I'm spiritually and emotionally pretty fit right now. And I don't need to react to any of it. Like that's the interesting thing in the wisdom to know the difference. I no longer need to react to the attack. And I've noticed this, that this is a relatively new state of my spiritual existence. I cannot say that that's how I would have responded a year ago. Let's say if the same set of circumstances showed up a year ago, I probably would have been pretty actively responding with an aggressive male energy, dude, of just, I'm gonna wrap this up real quick. And now I have been actually in my most, what they say as a good the best defense is a good offense, right? So my offense is spiritual, right? I don't need to defend myself anymore. Like I have a spiritual offense. Like I am always like offensively trying to project, and most likely more than not projecting a state of God in the action of being of service, right? And what I mean by this is like, yeah, you can claim God all day long, but really where the rubber meets the road is being of service to our fellow human beings, whether they be struggling with drugs and alcohol, or they just need help, dude, or whatever it is. And so when we move through the journey of sobriety, right? Like the target expands. And I think in on a certain level of like, you come out of like a passive sobriety. Like in the beginning, right? You have to sort of take it as it comes, bro. Like you sort of gotta just surrender, go with the flow, let your sponsor help you, dude. Let other sober people help you. Kind of just let other people show you the way. And then at a certain point in your sobriety, you gotta kind of get aggressive to figure some stuff out. You gotta go and get sort of like gnarly with it. You gotta test the boundaries of it. You gotta maybe, I remember like right before I had Al, I tried to fight those four dudes at the Westward Beach parking lot and scared them away, dude, right? Because I was so out of my mind sober. I was like crazy sober guy, dude, like super. And that's when my dude was like, come to this meeting, and I changed my sober thing. And then like 3 weeks later, I had Al, right? Like it was a thing where like my 5-year period of sobriety was totally on offense, like not I mean aggressive offense, like let's do it, like let's just like a hockey player just throwing down your gloves and like getting into it, dude, kind of thing. And then life just became, then life gets difficult, and you're just kind of bolting it all together, and you're hanging on. You have a kid, your house is burning down, your community's burning down, you're moving, you're doing these things, you're just sort of like in the zone, like living it, dude. You don't really have an option. You just gotta kind of go with it, dude. And then that storm passes, and you get to this place where you're like sober enough to make a stand, like a real stand, not like one where I'm going to get through this type of stand, like a serious like stand. And this happened for me about 4 months ago. Like I'm not going to get into the details of the circumstance, but I had a moment where I had to truly own where my feet stood on spaceship Earth. Like I had to truly like lock my feet into the planet, line myself up with God, the Schulman residency, and just become my own personal Tesla coil. I had to become a Tesla coil. And I did. And I stood and I said, it stops here. Again, I was, came down to defending some other people, and standing up for some people who couldn't stand up for themselves, and just being like, it stops here. It stops. And the minute I like stopped it, like the attack came, attack came, and it's been pretty nonstop ever since. But again, I don't really sweat it, because I don't need to, like, it's sort of like Neo. Remember in the Matrix when he's in the fight program? It's pretty like life. The Matrix is such a great movie because it can be explained. It's so many different. Remember, like in the thing, he's talking to Morpheus. I think he's in the dojo when he's fighting Morpheus, and he's like, so you mean I'll be able to like dodge bullets? And he's like, no, it's beyond that. I forget exactly what he says, dude. But Morpheus basically explains to him that you're not going to need to dodge bullets, dude. And then at the end of the thing, he's like, they're shooting the bullets, and the bullets stop, and he flicks them out of the way, type of thing. It's sort of like that. I've sort of gotten to this place right now where I no longer need to duck and weave the spiritual attacks, dude, because like I am standing in my God-given sobriety, 100% dialed into it. Maybe that's a bit grandiose. Maybe like 85% dialed in. Got to give 15% to the critters, right? Give 15% to the critters. But 85% dialed into my like sobriety, maybe 90, to the point where like I ceased fighting things. And I think it talks about it pretty clearly in the promises. Where's the promises, dude? Where's the promises? Here, wait. Where's the promises, dude? If we're all right, here, I'll read the promises right now because it's right in here. If we're painstaking about this phase of our development, we will be amazed before we're halfway through. We're going to know a new freedom and a new happiness. We will not regret the past nor wish to shut the door on it. We will comprehend the word serenity and we will know peace. No matter how far down the scale we've gone, we will see how our experience can benefit others. That feeling of uselessness, self-pity will disappear. We will lose interest in selfish things and gain interest in our fellows. Self-seeking will slip away. Our whole attitude and outlook upon life will change. Fear of people and economic insecurity will leave us. We will intuitively know how to handle situations which used to baffle us. We'll suddenly realize God is doing for us what we could not do for ourselves. Are these extravagant promises? We think not. They're being fulfilled us sometimes quickly, sometimes slowly. They will always materialize if you work for them. It's again we'll intuitively know how to handle situations which used to baffle us, dude. And that's what I'm getting at. Is to stand at this stage of my life, as to have finally dug my feet in to this life gnarly enough and just gone, this is the hill. This is the hill. This is my sober hill. I'm going to die on. Like I will defend this sober hill to the thing because my sober hill that I stand on is ultimately being of service to other people, right? And it's really come to light in clarity the last like 3 weeks, because it was all this conversation I had with this individual. I was like, no, like our baseline is being of service. Like that's what we've molded our whole life to around. That's what we teach I try to teach my child. That's what me and my wife do, like for fun and for free and also professionally. And so when you've reached that place, right, you realize that's kind of the sweet spot, man. Like that's where you want to be, is your whole life is essentially revolving around being of service to other people. And that takes a lot of different forms. Like it takes a lot of different forms. It really is, it goes back to my whole thing about using the name tags, right? Like, yeah, that's like baseline. But that was something I didn't practice once upon a time in my life. Like, I've been and again, is the point is not to call it out specifically, the actions, because I think that diminishes the actions, if you know what I mean. Is just, I guess what I'm getting at is I don't think you need to brag about the specifics of it. Or boast of it. I do, because I was just about to give some examples and I was like, nah, that takes away. Those examples are private. Those are between me and another individual, dude. And whatever, sometimes they're simple, sometimes they're hard. It's very complex. Yeah. Damn haze. You don't know what you're talking about, dude. It's okay. It's okay. Okay, well, why are you here then, dude? Oh, okay. All right. Well, it's the old Oh, okay. Sweet. It's not very it's not very nice. Trying to think for a second. Let me see. Huh. Hmm. That really hurts, man. The dude just said he's out of drugs, dude. If you can break free from them, do that. Yeah, if you can. Yeah. Well, again, is it's always an interesting thing, dude, right? Of how it all works, dude. Um, you know what the interesting thing is? It's funny, M4 McForon is I don't really have any hate left. Like I've been really kind of like playing that out like lace. Like I truly don't have any hate left. Like I don't if I sit here in all like my own self exploration, dude. Oh, yeah, yeah. You've got far more love than hate. Oh, yeah, yeah. No, I get that. No, I like to look at it, right? Because it's that thing is it's the test, dude. It's this test that you get in the thing to see what it does to you, right? Because that's truly what the attack is right to get you to turn your back on God, man, is to have you look away and be like, oh, that requires more of my attention than actually God. So that's what I guess that's what I'm getting at is like when you get around the corner with it all, you realize that there's really nothing left to hate anymore. It is all forgivable at this stage of the game, and it's it really does try, and I gotta say is I think a lot of what has helped a lot is I've just really have not paid any attention to the outside world and quite a while, dude. I got to be going on um, 8 weeks close. I haven't really, I have no idea what's going on in the real world, dude. 9 years sober today, dude. Good for you, dude. That's huge. 9 years. Happy, happy, happy sober day, dude. Um, You've been a huge inspiration for my life. Not even that's super nice of you to say. I won't spoil nothing from the outside world. Yeah, I don't really care. It's all the same stuff going on anyhow. It doesn't really change. You know what I mean? That's what I mean. It's like it's not even worth the attention on many levels because when you get down to it, it is just trying to get anger lies within the bosom of a fool. Yeah. No, no, I don't even know if well, I mean anger's there sometimes, man. 19, dude. Would you mind summarizing your take on how addiction may or may not have to involve drugs or booze? May or may not involve drugs or booze. Well, I mean, my take on it is like it's anything that really like alters your neural pathways to get you out of discomfort and that you can't put down, right? So for a lot of people it's yeah, drugs and alcohol are pretty easy to call out as addiction, dude. It's many things, dude. Like I was distracted by the phone to the point, and I know exactly why I was distracting myself with it. People do it with food, people do it with sex, people do it with gambling, People do with all sorts of things. And I think at the end of the day is they aren't really the problem. The problem is, what are you trying to avoid with the attention to the cover up, right? Like, if you look at like morbidly obese people, like most of them have like serious like sexual trauma deep down in their past. That's why they have a giant protective layer of skin and blubber, dude, is so nobody can get in. So most of these things that people do, I think the addiction action is to try to cover up something deep in the soul force that is in pain, man. All right, dude. Well, here, man. The fact you're even hanging out is, who's stupid, dude? Who's stupid? The one hanging out to listen to someone is stupid? What the fuck are you talking about? I don't know, dude. We're talking about you. So yeah, no, it's that thing. I think that it takes on. So do you think that hurts me? Like, I'm an idiot. Yeah, dude, and I'm good with that. Yes. Okay. Oh, there you go, dude. I don't even give them the courtesy to delete them, dude. It's like that weird thing of like, okay, what you say about others, you say about yourself, right? Just so you understand one of the basic tenets of this reality we have here. That's why like name calling never really has ever bothered me, because it's really just yourself that you're calling names to. But that's some deeper understanding about this thing. When you point the finger, you have three pointing back at you. Yeah, exactly. It seems like 26 is the year of the haters. Are there? I don't know. Are there? I don't pay any attention, dude. I think 2020 was the real year of the haters, dude. But that's neither here nor there, because we're on Sober Wednesday, yo. So I mean, that's the thing is what are we talking about here, right? What are we talking? So no, getting back to the sober thing involving drugs or booze, I think it's anything that you obsessively, compulsively partake in to cover up the pain of, pornography. That is a brutal, brutal addiction for lots and lots of people, man. Does it get the attention that smoking crack or drinking alcohol does? It doesn't seem to. And I would say that it might be even a far more debilitating addiction, dude, because anything that like fires off certain parts of your brain and then has you coming back for more is addiction, man. And again, as I think that most people look at the thing they're addicted to and don't look at why they're addicted. It's the why. And again, that's why sobriety is a lot about doing the work, because it's not really about the drugs or the alcohol, dude. It's about something underneath. I mean, so if you look at the thing, it's like that's where the fourth and the fifth step are, right? You got to get in under the hood and go, well, what was it that I was using the drugs and alcohol for, dude? Like, what was I using the addictive stuff for, dude? And usually you go down to is it some sort of trauma-based reality, dude? Whether it's just simply that being here on this crazy planet with a bunch of psychopaths, pretty traumatizing for anyone, dude. I'm surprised most people aren't spun out, dude. But I would say that apathy is a gnarly addiction too, dude. Is lust is my drug, not an alcohol, but that's what. Yeah, lust is right up there. Coveting, dude. All that kind of stuff, dude. Yeah, but it might. Yeah, but what is it? Not yet, but I realized the trauma or lack of the teenage version of myself was trying to fill. At a deep level, I understood why that kid wanted to get stoned. Let it go from the root. 158. There you go, Benjamin. See, that's the thing, dude. Yeah, sometimes it's just simply just not fitting into the status quo, dude. That's a painful experience for many of us. I mean, if you look at like a certain segment of the addicted population, it's not trauma. I mean, a lot of people have been like sexually traumatized, dude. It's a legion in our society or the Western world or the world for that matter. I don't know. But when you get down to it, there's a lot of this stuff. Okay. Well, since you don't know what you're talking about, I don't know why you're even commenting. Why are you even here, dude? It's baffling to me. But that's about to. I've had some serious addictions. I was on heroin not too long ago, so maybe 3 years ago. I can't pinpoint it. Still have PTSD and just made no excuse. I got clean. There you go, man. We can do this stuff, man. It's again it's a moment of, yeah, maybe. I don't know. Maybe they do or maybe they don't, dude. It's pretty interesting to come from a place of judgment of what people do. Oh, now we're going over to religion too. I don't know what that has to do with thinking for yourself, but whatever, dude. Or maybe people are just doing what you're doing because you can't think for yourself either, and you're threatened by the possibility. I don't know, dude. I don't know what ticks inside everybody, man. I only have my own experience to go from, and how do you get deeper into yourself to find, well, that's sort of where the work is, right? Like the first thing you got to do is get off of the addiction, right? Like put the addiction down long enough to get your mind, body, and soul stabilized enough. It really is about like finding like the calm, right? So you can figure out what is making the ripples, right? So think of it this way, like when you're addicted, the whole pond is just pebbles dropping into the pond, ripples everywhere, ripples everywhere. So like, if when you remove the addiction thing, it's like the pond gets pretty calm all of a sudden. The water starts to calm, and you really begin to look at where the ripples are coming from. And that's sort of the gig you got to kind of put it down long enough and then get spiritually tuned up to find the answer, because the answer can be somewhat horrifying to most people, man, is to really take risk, because ultimately it does come down to a responsibility for oneself of on one level, the hater is correct. People choose drugs, they don't want to be responsible for their own life, but that's not exactly it. But yeah, that's the thing, is you got to own the fact, dude. No one's forcing it into your mouth or into your veins or into your head. You choose to click the pornography button. You choose to wedge the Oreo cookies. But at a certain point you lose that choice, dude. Your body becomes addicted. It's pretty simple to understand once you realize it. Yeah, in the beginning it's just a distraction, and then it builds a whole network, a neural net around it. If you understand the mind and the human condition is like, we are subject to building habits. And those habits, when they are removing us from pain, can become very, very much the norm. Hence addiction, man. Toxic. Well, toxic people are an addiction too, dude. People love the drama. People like, we work with some people, and the drugs aren't their problem. It's addiction to drama. It is literally addiction to troubled people that make, again, it fires off certain things within your mind, man. It has a chemical reaction, serotonin, all this kind of stuff. It the drama thing is just as powerful as drugs are for some people. Just the full just drama, and it just makes them feel certain ways, and it validates the continued drama loop, dude. Yeah, the cortisol, dude, all of that, dude. It's real. I don't. I again, I is I think that it's a bigger. I think it's a bigger overlay that I think drugs and alcohol are a perfect template to see it in a real practical way. Like I said, when I detoxed off of the information input, I was addicted to information that was distracting me from taking a look at serious things in my own life, dude, right? Like I was addicted to what the information did to my brain and my brain patterns because it kept me from truly looking inward and going, oh, dude, there's some stuff that needs to be taken a look at there. And so, I think that drugs and alcohol are a very obvious thing, like right in your like the consciousness of Western world. But I think when you understand the template for what addiction is, and that what it does to your bioelectrical spacesuit, what it does to your mind and your emotions, and how you it's a self-fulfilling prophecy. It's a feedback loop that gets stronger and stronger. I do think that you can take the overlay of drugs and alcohol and kind of step it down and take a 30,000-foot perspective on lots of things we do in our life and go, oh, that's pretty addictive, dude. Like, shopping, it's another addictive thing that activates certain like stuff within people's bodies and mind chemistry, and they need that feedback loop. It's the gamblers have the same thing, dude. They have an activation based upon like losing, so all these things ultimately are about the brain's chemistry and its electrical interaction with itself, dude, and reinforcing, because ultimately all this is all sort of it is just a response to this illusionary reality we have of the three dimensions and the five senses, man. So, my coworker today was ranting about how just because somebody drinks every day doesn't make them an addict. I'm like, okay, bro, why are you ranting about it out of nowhere? Well, that's the thing is like, listen, man, like most people don't want to look inward, man. Like, look, the hardest thing you'll ever have to do in this life is look at the person in the mirror staring back at you and decide that's the person that you are. You know what I mean? There's no like ultimately, I think that's what it comes down to. Most people just don't want to look at themselves and be like, oh my God, that's me. I am the problem. I've been the problem most of the time. Do you think psychedelics can help individuals go inward? I don't think so. I can't, I don't, I think that's the wrong perspective of it in a sense. I think that, I don't think you need anything to go inward except courage and calm, quiet. I ultimately think if you really want to go inward and truly figure out what's going on, is just get real quiet for an extended period of time. Put down all the distractions. Like, we got someone up here right now. They're doing nothing for 30 days. Just letting the noise get loud inside their head. And that's the thing is truly, when you understand it, the reason you need to get calm is so you can find out how loud. Breathing techniques are good too, man. All these things, anything that gets you quiet enough to take a look inward is the key, but most people don't want the quiet. Is horrifying, dude. It's gnarly, dude. Inside is a battlefield, dude, because look, it's pretty easy to look at yourself and be like, oh, I like that part of myself. Like, oh, I have some good qualities. It's really the real rubber is to truly love all your failings, to truly love your darkness, to truly love what is wrong with you, and be like, that is who I am. I am both the things I love about myself. I am all the things I love about myself. So why not love all of myself, right? And we all have failings. We all have darkness and secrets and things inside of ourselves that eat at us. And that's where you got to go in. I truly believe that's why you got to get quiet and remove the noise. So call drugs and alcohol noise, call overeating noise, call gambling noise, shopping noise, sex noise. It's noise. And if you can remove the noise long enough, you might get a lens inside of yourself and really realize how crazy loud it is inside your head. Because that's the thing. The noise, all the stuff distracts you from the fact that inside your self-talking mind, it is one more than 10. It is 11 in there, man. It is just a monkey show, dude, going on inside your head. And most people don't want to look at that because that monkey show goes all the way back, dude. It goes all the way back, dude. Balance, but it's harder when someone would imagine. Yeah, it's hard, man. Anyway, that's my hour here on Sober Wednesday. 988 is the suicide hotline, dude. If you wanted to self-delete, please don't do that. We need all of you, dude. You're all super important, man. And the also the number is 1-800-273-TALK. But I think you just dial 988 now and you're good to go, dude. Like I said, man, everybody's important, even the hater, dude. Like that dude's important too. We're all serving a purpose to elevate the frequency. And I think that we need far out aliens. Thank you. I appreciate that, man. And yeah, I think that as uncomfortable it is the people that attack you spiritually do serve a purpose, and that is to make you stronger. It's like anything else is you want to find out if you're strong, get tested, right? So I do think that it all serves a purpose. Nobody can say anything bad about you that you haven't already said bad about yourself. So maybe try saying good things to yourself and good things to other people and try to be like better at that, just somewhere to start. Anyway, this is Sober Wednesday, dude. If you want to get sober, like sober from drugs and alcohol, you can probably find anywhere in the Western world. You got AA Central Office, put an AA Central Office your town, and you'll probably get a list of meetings or an AA Central Office. You just call or go to one of those meetings, raise your hand. It's not a big deal. Didn't ask for help, dude. A lot of cool people out there who would love to give their time and energy to helping someone searching for sobriety. And basically, there's groups for everybody, whatever your addiction is, and you too can get some help. And God's usually the first person to ask, and then the human beings are kind of where you got to go to do the work with God, because where two or more gathered, there he is. So anyway, that's what I got for you tonight, dude. And with that said, I'll see you back next Wednesday. God willing, we'll end with the serenity prayer. God, grant me the serenity to accept the things I cannot change, the courage to change the things I can, and the wisdom to know the difference. Amen. Keep using the name tags. All right. Good night, everyone.